Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahavyam Karavavahai Tejasvina Aditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. And may we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace. Peace be unto thee, unto us, and to all your beloved children everywhere. Well, namaste, everyone, and welcome to our Saturday noon class, in which we are reading and discussing Swami Ranganathananda's slim volume, action-packed, I would say, titled Divine Grace. Our reader is Jeff Sowlich, and unless there's some comment, question, or concern that needs to be brought up from some prior session, is there any such? All right, then we'll go ahead. Jeff will tell us where we are in the book, and we'll proceed.
All right. Well, last time we were in the middle of a long quotation from Swami Vivekananda that begins on page 29, and we agreed that we would start over again at that point. So we're in the middle of the section called Divine Grace, its presence behind self-reliance and self-surrender, and that's section 17. But we're on page 29. Picking up with Swami Vivekananda and a excerpt from his lecture, Vedanta and its application to spiritual life, and it's in the Complete Works. And I'll pause after a paragraph or so, since it's densely packed. This is the picture of the human soul. Man is eating the sweet and bitter fruits of this life, pursuing gold, pursuing his senses, pursuing the vanities of life, hopelessly, madlessly careering as he goes. In other places, the Upanishads have compared the human soul to the charioteer and the senses to the mad horses unrestrained. Such is the career of men pursuing the vanities of life. Children dreaming golden dreams only to find that they are but vain, and old men chewing the cud of their past deeds, and yet not knowing how to get out of this network. This is the world. So I'll pause there.
Well, this is his very accurate description of mind, of our condition within life. And it is it's chilling to think that all of us were at one time in that condition. And yet by the grace, something awakened in us. And so instead, here we sit on a Saturday afternoon pursuing what the Swami had to say about it, and our own thoughts and our own concerns and our own comments about these things. What a grace, what a boost out of the dross of worldly existence. Later on, we come to see all of worldly existence as the actions and grace of the divine. But in the beginning, we have to say, neti, not that. So this is such an these were such encouraging words to us to continue our saying, not that, not that. Anything else from anyone?
Brother Shankara, this is Haima. I just wanted to mention about this one sentence: old men chewing the cud of their past deeds and yet not knowing how to get out of this network. I don't think it's not only the old men, all of us chew those. I have a feeling majority of us chew the past deeds. I was listening to Oprah one day and she said that turn the wounds into wisdom. And that's not easy. It takes some time and work on majority of all of us, our part. Just
Well,
want to mention that.
Swami was always reluctant to point the finger at women because women are, in his estimation, objectifications of the Divine Mother. And so the actions of the Divine Mother are always hard to understand. But he knew these old men. So that phrase struck me also. It is a powerful phrase about uh, our going over and rehearsing
We replay them.
our entrapment and not knowing how to get out of it.
That's right.
And yet he's about to tell us. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, the visualization looks pretty clear. Back in India, every corner has this tea shop, and then if there's always a couple of older gentlemen sitting there sipping tea and talking away. Obviously, they're talking of their past deeds. So maybe that's the visualization Swamiji is pulling up here.
I think that's a very accurate one. Yes, I saw that when I was in Kolkata in 1999, just exactly what you're talking about. I didn't know what I was seeing, of course, but I do remember seeing exactly what you're talking about.
This passage reminds me of a friend of mine who had a rather illustrious career, and then it went south, and he retired and ended up being close to penniless. He wasn't penniless, but he was not able to provide for himself very well.
Mm-hmm.
And all he could do was chew on the cud of his past deeds, and he didn't know how to move on from that. So he did not know how to get out of that network. He didn't see a path for evolution of any kind, and I tried to give him one, and it just wasn't visible to him, and he died quite miserably.
I'm so sorry for your friend. We can all offer prayers for such people. And all of us, I'm sure, have at least one person in our own acquaintance over the many years that fits this description. And I think it's interesting that Haima selected it out of all of those phrases and what the Swami said, because it is something that we do see, and it is tragic. It is tragic. And so all we can do is offer prayers for those people, that they somehow, some spark of illumination comes. Because as you said, Jeff, when we try to offer it to them, it isn't their time yet, as Sri Ramakrishna said. When it's their time, that spark of illumination will come. It will come from within, and it will, if they're careful and thoughtful, they can blow on that spark and turn it into a raging fire of mokshatam, of yearning for liberation. But that's a long time coming.
There's a lot of, I think the reason that the 12-step, the Alcoholics Anonymous and other 12-step programs are so effective is that they are a spiritual program. And what you were talking about, Jeff, is yes, we have, and Brother Shankara said we all have known at least one person, but just like an alcoholic has to what they call bottom out before they themselves are really ready to seek a new way of living. It's the same for spirituality. People who are in the dark spiritually, we want to help them, just like those of us with an alcoholic friend want to help them, but we can't. They have to be ready, and often, unfortunately, the spiritual aspirant also has to bottom out, really get sick of the world, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well said.
And it's interesting in the 12-step program, they are very much discouraged from chewing on the cud of their past, their resentments and their all of the things that that brought them to that helplessness, that confession of helplessness in the face of alcohol or drugs. Well said, Cindy. Thank you. Anything else? Well, this is exactly what we should be doing. Wonderful. All right, please read on.
And the next paragraph picks up right where we need it to. Yet in the life of everyone there come golden moments. In the midst of the deepest sorrows, nay, of the deepest joys, there come moments when a part of the cloud that hides the sunlight moves away, as it were, and we catch a glimpse, in spite of ourselves, of something beyond, away, away beyond the life of the senses, away, away beyond its vanities, its joys, and its sorrows, away, away beyond nature, or our imaginations of happiness here or hereafter, away beyond all thirst for gold, or for fame, or for name, or for posterity. Shall I pause there?
No, I think you can go ahead. I don't think there's anything I need to say. If there's something else needs to bring in, I would, of course, welcome.
Oh,
I
hearing.
love Swami's rhetoric, away and away. Okay.
Man stops for a moment at this glimpse and sees the other bird, calm and majestic, eating neither sweet nor bitter fruits, but immersed in his own glory, self-content, self-satisfied. As the Gita says, he whose devotion is to the Atman, he who does not want anything beyond the Atman, he who has become satisfied in the Atman, what work is there for him to do? Why should he drudge? And I'll pause there just because the next paragraph is a rather long one.
Well, this business of being satisfied with and in the Atman, this is the purpose of spiritual practice. When we turn within and we find there that witness presence, and we find that in that witness presence there is this great silence, that it communicates with silence, and we learn to simply sink beneath our thoughts and feelings. Not that they go away, they don't go away, but the thoughts and feelings, we sink beneath them into the silence of the Atman. And when we become content, as Krishna says, what work is there for us to do? Why drudge? We don't drudge. We no longer are drudges. We do what we need to do to sustain ourselves and perhaps even contribute significantly to the welfare of others. But we certainly is no longer work. It is a joy that we feel in doing these things. Not a joy every minute, of course, but we take great joy in serving the others and in serving our own needs, because we can't be of any use to others if we are weak or needful. So we have to be strong and no longer needful. Then we can be of use to others. And we are of use to others, spontaneously, automatically. We don't have to make a drudgery of it. Anything else from anyone? Okay.
Yeah, Hari Om Shankaraji, yes. This is the wonderful statement. Why should we drudge? Because if we do everything, all the karma, with the aspect of karma yoga, there is no drudge at all. You
Yes.
feel more happy.
Precisely. You nailed it. What was being spoken of is karma yoga. And it is in karma yoga. But we don't even have to think about it as karma yoga or think of it as karma yoga. We simply spontaneously do it from that perspective. And it is joyous. But that's what it is. You're right. It's karma yoga. Thank you, Bala. Anything else from you or anyone else? Okay, Jeff, please read on.
Man catches a glimpse, then again forgets and goes on eating the sweet and bitter fruits of life. Perhaps after a time he catches another glimpse, and the lower bird goes nearer and nearer to the higher bird as blows after blows are received. If he be fortunate to receive hard knocks, then he comes nearer and nearer to his companion, the other bird, his life, his friend. And as he approaches him, he finds that the light from the higher bird is playing round his own plumage. And as he comes nearer and nearer, lo, the transformation is going on. The nearer and nearer he comes, he finds himself melting away, as it were, until he has entirely disappeared. He did not really exist. It was but the reflection of the other bird who was there calm and majestic amidst the moving leaves. It was all his glory, that upper bird's. He then becomes fearless, perfectly satisfied, calmly serene. And that concludes the quotation from Swami Vivekananda.
And this image, this metaphor of the two birds is so powerful, because we are taught over and over by the great teacher that we are a reflection of the glory of the divine being, the mother and father that is spoken of when we introduce the prayer that is who we are. But we think, because of ego and our habits, our mental and psychical habits, we think we are that bird that is tasting of the bitter and sweet fruits. So as long as we believe it, that's what happens. But as Swami says, slowly and slowly, by getting hard knocks, by getting the bitter experiences of life and having to digest them, we see we see closer and closer we come to our own glory. What a powerful metaphor the two birds is. Anything else from anyone about it?
Yeah, I think the two birds metaphor is excellent, because if you really think in terms of Vedanta philosophy, one bird is the Atman, the other one is the Maya. If you go to the Sankhya philosophy, one bird is the Purusha, or maybe the unmanifested Prakriti, and the other bird is the manifested Prakriti. And
Right.
then the evolution is happening, going backward.
Going backward, you hit the nail on the head again. That's what we do. We go backward up the chain, if you will, of manifestation, and slowly seeing, I am not the mind, I am not the senses, I am not the objects of the senses. I am so what? I am the aham. I am the cosmic ego. That is the nature of my being. Its reflection in this tiny ego is the source of my problems. So I am the aham. I am the buddhi. And so these are. Thank you for my lunch. Thank you for bringing it. See you again soon. Okay. These are one of the kind ladies who comes and takes care of me. So so this is the idea that I am not I am not the little ego. I am the cosmic ego. I am the divine being. I am the buddhi. I am that which can differentiate one thing from another. I am, in fact, the great cause, the Mahat. I am that which bursts forth by the spontaneous energy of the Purusha in the formulation of Sankhya. Or I am that which becomes Maya from Brahman. I am that. And of course, that's what the Upanishads tell us. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Tattvamasi. That thou art. We slowly and slowly become convinced of this. And then this is the power of this metaphor of the two birds. Slowly and slowly, by learning the meaning of the blows we receive, which are in fact blessings, though they may not seem so at the moment. Anything else from anyone?
I couldn't help just bring a similarity and comparison. I mean, I'm wondering that Swami Vivekananda is so good at storytelling metaphors to bring about transformation. And if I really look at the latest cutting edge management thinking, they're also talking about storytelling to bring about digital transformation or transformation of an organization. So again, storytelling, that's what Swamiji is doing so well in order to really make his point here.
Yes. Away and away. What wonderful rhetoric. He repeats it over and over as a good rhetorician does. Away and away from this. Away and away from that. And finally, just one final away. Yeah, please read on.
All this becomes highlighted towards the end of the Gita where Sri Krishna says, "Till now I told you the profoundest truths of the science of religion. Now I tell you the profoundest truth, and it is this. Having achieved all the strength of manliness, now rise to the higher and final level of godliness, full saintliness, by surrendering the ego and all its powers and propensities to me, who am your own infinite self. Don't leave anything out to claim as exclusively your own."
Oh, please read that again and lay emphasis on who is speaking.
Till now I told you the profoundest truths of the science of religion. Now I tell you the profoundest truth, and it is this. Having achieved all the strength of manliness, now rise to the higher and final level of godliness, full saintliness, by surrendering the ego and all its powers and propensities to me, who am your own infinite self. Don't leave anything out to claim as exclusively your own.
Don't leave anything out. Give it all to me. And then he says in chapter 6, you don't have to do it all at once. You can do it moment by moment, day by day, by living sacramentally. Just offer as you go through the day, just think. This day and everything it contains is offered to you, Lord. Each action, each thought, each perception, each one. As I experience them, I offer them back to you, and then I accept them as your prasad. Nothing belongs to me. No thing belongs to me. And when that happens, there is such freedom, such freedom.
I wanted to make a comment a second ago. I think it was Bhaskar who was talking about this Vivekananda's storytelling.
Yes.
It reminded me of a quote I love from Muriel Rukeyser, and it's, "The universe is made of stories, not of atoms."
How beautiful.
Yeah, it is, but also about the ego and surrendering everything. It seems like the more we are able to surrender and be less driven by our ego, the more capacity we have to love as well, not just the divine, but all beings.
Precisely. Because there's no impediments. You're absolutely right. And when we get right down to it at that point, what's not to love? For there is horror in the world. You can love as the Christians say, abominate the sin, love the sinner. Even the people who are creating abominations are the divine presence. There is nothing but. That's what Krishna just told us. I'm the only thing that exists. Thank you, Swami. Anything else from anyone? All right, please read on.
So this is Swami Ranganathananda speaking. When the separate I goes away completely, everything becomes God and nothing else remains. That is self-surrender, resignation to God, which is the same as the grace of the divine. The grace descends fully at that stage from the Blessed Lord into the heart of the seeker. As I said at the beginning, this is the last word of religion, complete surrender, when the devotee fully experiences being bathed in divine grace. And looking back at one's past life, the devotee finds that it was that very grace that was operating all the time at the earlier stages of Purushakara also.
Purushakara.
Purushakara. Thank you. So, shall I pause there?
We'll read it again, please.
Certainly. When the separate I goes away completely, everything becomes God and nothing else remains. That is self-surrender, resignation to God, which is the same as the grace of the divine. The grace descends fully at that stage from the Blessed Lord into the heart of the seeker. As I said at the beginning, this is the last word of religion, complete surrender, when the devotee fully experiences being bathed in divine grace. And looking back at one's past life, the devotee finds that it was that very grace that was operating all the time at the earlier stages of Purushakara also.
It's interesting that Ranganathananda talks about the grace descending into the heart, the divinity descending into the heart. This is the meaning of the word Mazel Tov. We think of the Jewish expression Mazel Tov as meaning congratulations or good for you. No, the real meaning is may the great word, the Tov, may the great word descend into your heart and your spirit and animate you there. So this is not exclusive to us. It is found throughout the world's religion. And that particular phrase just jumped out at me because of that. Anything else from anyone?
Yes, actually, in the last paragraph, it seems that the Gita, and I don't know where that inflection point is, but maybe the first 17 or even 17 and a half chapters of all slokas is trying to talk about how to, the profoundest truth of science of religion. It's kind of talking about how to increase the strength of manliness or purushakara. And then maybe at somewhere in chapter 18, one sloka is the tipping point or the inflection point where they are saying, now I'm going to bring you to the profoundest truth, which is take your strength of manliness away and finally give it to godliness, which is the last paragraph. And in this paragraph, it's the same thing Ranganathan was saying, you know, it's time that you take the grace and bring it down to your heart, just like you said, brother.
Actually, Krishna even says this in the second chapter itself, because he tells to Arjuna, I already killed all of them. I'm not 100% sure this is the second chapter or Vishwarupa Darshana, one of those two chapters. I already killed all of them. I am just using as my pawn to do what is necessary to be done. So even at that time, he says, you just surrender and do what I told you to do. And this is what exactly the ultimate truth of the Bhagavad Gita is surrender.
Yes. And you're right, it is the second chapter. And he says to Arjuna, you think you'll kill them? No, they're already dead. They're already dead. It's already accomplished. You just go ahead and do what you have to do. Get up and fight. Put off this unmanliness. Get up and fight. And of course, this has profound meaning for us as a metaphor for our worldly lives. Don't throw down your weapons and say, it's more than I can bear to overcome the world. There's too many, as Cindy pointed out, real love is, you become capable of real love only when you put off the fabrication of this idea of worldly love. I love these things of the world.
Actually, if you want to hear another interesting story, Vivekananda tells in the Bhakti Yoga about the same thing, which is a shloka in the, in the, what is that?
The Narada Bhakti Sutras?
No, not in the Bhakti Sutra. It's in the, what do you call this? Boy, how can I can't see. This is the
Get older.
Vishnu Sahasranama. Actually, it is in the last shloka. What he says is, you just leave everything. I will take care of your yoga and kshama. I will take care of it. And this one, Vivekananda says, actually, there was a poor Brahmin, and he was just going every day for bhiksha to get the food and all these things, but he's very much devoted. And in this shloka, there was one last sentence, it just says, I deliver everything to you, all your yoga kshama. So this priest thought, no, how can God deliver it to me? At least I have to go and get it. So he strikes that thing. And then the next day, when he goes to all this bhiksha and all those things, the God himself brings all the food like a young boy and give it to his wife. And as he was turning back and going away, she saw some scratches on his back. So she asks him, who did that? Who beat you? Oh, it is your husband. So when he came back, she asked, how could you beat that such a nice small boy? All those things. What are you talking about? The husband says. Then she tells all about this one. Then he remembers. He struck that word that I deliver. And that is what the story Vivekananda says in the Bhakti Yoga.
Yes. Very, very well said. There's another version of the story in which the scratches are on the boy's forehead. So, this is it. If we think we're going to change the nature of the scriptures by our beliefs, we're only marring and putting scratches on the body of the divine. Anything else from anyone? Thank you, Bala.
Yes, brother, this is Jen.
Yes, Jen. Hello there. Good to hear from you.
It's morning here. Good morning. The last paragraph about the separate I that goes away completely and everything becomes God and nothing else remains, and that grace. I was reading a book a while ago about sacred India, and the fellow who wrote it had met Nanagaru, who wrote this amazing thing about how Ramana Maharshi came to him in a dream, and kissed him on the cheek. And I'm going to read what he wrote about that. Then some years later, in the morning, between sleeping and waking, he, as he put it to me, felt his mind falling once and for all into his heart. And that is so beautiful. It wasn't anything he did. It was an act of grace of his mind or his ego falling once and for all into his heart. And that's how he Nanagaru explained the state he was in as being an enlightened person and a saint. It wasn't anything he did. It happened by the grace of God. So that's all I had to say.
Well, thank you for contributing. That's beautiful. Beautiful. And, this is this saintliness that Krishna is recommending to us. Oh, in other places, he'll tell us it happens spontaneously and automatically. This is something you have to will, or even can will. You have to allow it to happen. You can't insist that it not happen. I mean, you can insist that to your detriment. Thank you, Jim. Anything else from anyone?
Just have a comment, Brother Shankara. What you said is so true. As long as we have faith and devotion, I think the grace steps in as you need, unknowingly, unnoticingly, suddenly grace steps in all the
Yeah.
time. Truly
And
agree. Thank you.
when we descend, I was describing earlier, this descent into our inner being and finding there the Atman. This is the descent of the mind into the heart. The mind doesn't go away. The mind and the chatterbox thoughts and all that, they don't go away, but they are totally transformed by the experience. And I mean totally transformed. Their import is no longer felt in the way that it was by the experience of the silence of the Atman, the silence within. And so this is what is meant by the mind falling into the heart. Beautifully put. Anything else? All right, Jeff, please read on.
The experience of divine grace gives a new type of strength to man, namely, the strength to digest all experiences and to become the stronger through that digestion, morally and spiritually. As digested food increases physical strength, digested knowledge and information increases mental and intellectual strength, and lack of such digestion increases the toxic elements of the body and mind, leading to physical and mental diseases. So also digested experiences, success or failure, happiness or unhappiness, gain or loss, increase the character strength in men and women, and the lack of such spiritual digestion distorts his or her character and the interhuman situation. Such spiritual digestion is the product of man's contact with the divine, within himself or herself. In one of the many beautiful verses, the Srimad Bhagavatam reveals this sweet character fruit of divine grace. Conveying the words of Lord Vishnu to a devotee, it says, "If birth, actions, youthful age, physical beauty, knowledge, power, etc., do not cause arrogance in anyone, know that that is the sign of my grace."
Please read that again. This
Certainly.
is himself speaking to a devotee or disciple. Vishnu, one of the three mind-born sons of the mother, the one who is responsible for sustentation and preservation of the universe and all that is in it. This is who is speaking, Vishnu.
If birth, actions, I'm sorry?
Introduce who's speaking.
Conveying the words of Lord Vishnu to a devotee. If birth, actions, youthful age, physical beauty, knowledge, power, etc., do not cause arrogance in anyone, know that that is the sign of my grace.
And this was the case. This is the case of those saintly people, his band of minstrels that came with Sri Ramakrishna. The men who became the order and his female disciples, they all manifested exactly what is said here. No arrogance, no feeling of, they just knew who they were. They were saintly from birth. Any comments or questions about that? You can read about these people. Come and join us on Tuesday nights when we're reading the gospel. You find out about these people. All right, dears. Please read on, Jeff. How are we doing for time?
We've got about 14 minutes.
Oh my goodness, wonderful.
So we're starting a new section now, section 18, entitled Divine Grace in the Indian Tradition. In an oft-quoted verse of the Vivekachudamani, did I say that right?
Yes.
We could,
Vekachudamani.
Vivekachudamani.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Crestjewel of discrimination.
Shankaracharya expounds the most pervasive idea of divine grace. And this is verse 3. Three things are difficult to obtain, and if obtained, they are to be treated as the result of the grace of the divine. These are human birth, desire for spiritual emancipation, and guidance and help from a Mahapurusha, or great man. Among thousands of species of living beings, each one of which, for example, even one species of the insect world, will have millions of individual members, there is only one species of human beings, and that one species has only about 3,500 million members. Man is unique in nature for this and for the still more important reason, namely that he alone among nature's products has the organic capacity to understand nature and himself, and to achieve freedom from creatureliness. This manusyatva, humanness, is thus the first touch of divine grace, according to Vedanta. So, shall I pause there?
I want you to read it again. And it's so important for us to grasp that each of us, as we sit here, is in full possession of all three of these graces. First, the human birth. Second, the desire for emancipation, liberation, and freedom from limitation. And the Mahapurusha, the great teacher. We're listening to that great teacher in its various forms, as Krishna in the Gita, as Swami Ranganathananda himself, as Vivekananda, these various great ones that are quoted, that are printed in this book. We have all three of those graces. And if we take hold of them with both hands and do our, as the old beautiful spiritual says, hold on to that plow, hold on, hold on. Hold on to that plow, hold on. If we do that, because of the grace that is behind all this, that provides the spark for our being here this Saturday afternoon, there's nothing to be concerned about. It will all unfold just as it should. Just hold on to that plow. Hold on. Anything else from anyone?
Well, the only thing I just have to say is, see, that the Adi Guru, the first Guru, is Dakshinamurti, which is a Shiva. And at the temple on November 16th to 26th, about 11 days, they are doing a different homas and all those things to thank that Adi Guru, the Dakshinamurti, this month.
Wonderful. Wonderful. For anyone who wants to go and join in, I'm sure it will be a very uplifting and joyous experience. Balakrishna can tell you all about it if you he means the Hindu temple in the south of Atlanta, where he is a frequent contributor and a servant, and does a great deal of work there. He can tell you when and what you might want to attend.
So the third thing is the help of Mahapurusha. Is that the Guru-Chela relationship? How would you characterize that third?
I don't understand your question, Bhaskar.
So there's three things we talked about: human birth, desire for spiritual emancipation, and guidance and help from Mahapurusha. So that's the third one. Is that the initiation and the assistance from a guru, or does it take multiple different forms?
You don't need to have initiation, but it is auspicious simply because you get very specific instructions as to how to proceed. But definitely that is just exactly as you described it. That is the connection. And the teacher never insists, but always holds out the hand of invitation. You take my hand, I will lead you forward. And how many teachers are there holding out their hands? I mean, the history of the world is studded with them. Of course, most of them are ignored. Some are even assassinated. But if you just listen to the beginning of Lord Chaitanya's prayer, chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. There it is. Chaitanya holding out his hand, forever holding out his hand. Chaitanya hasn't gone anywhere any more than Christ has, or Adi Shankaracharya, or any of the great ones. They're all there. And what if you accept my invitation to chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly? The mirror of the heart will be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within, which is the great impediment. So it's always there. They're always there, holding out their hands, saying, take my hand. To Ramakrishna, the same thing. I am the refuge. I am the refuge. Here's my hand, take it. But he won't insist. He won't. He, Mother Vivekananda, none of them will push themselves on us. They'll simply say, pay attention to that spark that has been lit in you. And let us help you blow on it and turn it into a raging flame of yearning and freedom. Anything else from anyone? Okay, I'm assuming we have some minutes left, so please read on.
We've got about 5 minutes. So did you want me to read that passage again? Brother Shankara, did you want me to read that passage again? I'm not hearing you, sir. That you're not muted, but all of a sudden I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, well, the answer is yes. Yes.
Okay. Now I hear you. In an oft-quoted verse of the Vivekachudamani, Shankaracharya expounds the most pervasive idea of divine grace. In verse 3, "Three things are difficult to obtain, and if obtained, they are to be treated as the result of the grace of the divine. These are human birth, desire for spiritual emancipation, and guidance and help from a Mahapurusha, or great man. Among thousands of species of living beings, each one of which, for example, even one species of the insect world will have millions of individual members, there is only one species of human beings, and that one species has only about 3,500 million members."
There were only 3.5 billion people alive at the time this book was published. Clearly, that's what he means. 3.5, that number translates to 3.5 billion. We're now up to about 8 billion.
Man is unique in nature for this, and for the still more important reason, namely that he alone, among nature's products, has the organic capacity to understand nature and himself, and to achieve freedom from creatureliness. This manusyatva, humanness, is thus the first touch of divine grace, according to Vedanta. There's another short paragraph, so I'll proceed.
Please, yes.
But I'll need help with the Sanskrit. "Among millions of such human beings, only a few exercise their organic capacity to strive beyond creatureliness to freedom. This striving, or mumukshatvam, is therefore considered the second touch of divine grace."
It means the yearning for liberation, yearning for freedom from limitation.
And shall I proceed? The next paragraph is kind of long, and that'll probably take us up to the end of the hour.
I think, how many minutes do we have left?
2.
Oh, well, let's just leave it to right there.
Okay.
That's fine. No, is there any final comment, concern, or question from any?
I always remember someone trying to give me the first advice on the first of the 3. In my early days with dealing with depression, I was getting help with Chinese medicine. And the first acupuncturist I went to, while he was treating me and while I'm in tears because of my affliction, he was telling me, "Do you know how fortunate you are to be in a human birth?" And I was not in a position to understand that truth. I understand it now, but I remember that truth, that kind man trying to help me to understand that truth, but I just wasn't ready to hear it at that point.
Yes, it would have soothed you if you could have heard him, but of course, we're never ready till we're ready. That's exactly what Sri Ramakrishna says. We're ready when we're ready. And when we're ready, it happens. So here we are on a Saturday afternoon, sharing this with one another, studying the art of spirituality together. Such a profound thing to do, and such a joyous thing to do. Tomorrow morning, I'll be talking about Halloween. Halloween is a strange and mysterious occurrence because it marks a time in the year when the separation, the next room, so to speak, into which spirits go when they pass from this corporeal body. And this realm is very thin. And so they can come and go. And there are many aspects of that. So we'll talk about that tomorrow morning. 11 a.m. right here on Zoom. Any final thought from anyone from today or?
The only thing I can think of what the Jeff's experience of that gentleman, whoever, the grace put the seed in your mind, and it is only how it explodes itself. But see, the idea that you remember that all that one, so that seed was there. From there, now it is flourishing into a big plant.
Well said.
It only took about 25 years for that.
It doesn't matter. in the lots, there is no time, so there is nothing to worry about.
25 years is not much.
Very true, Balaji. Thank you.
25 years is, but it isn't even the beginning of the thought of a blink in cosmic time. So, but Bala's so right. He did plant that seed, and now it is a flourishing plant that allows you to understand deeply. Anything else from any of you lovely people?
At least it happened in this lifetime for Jeff. That's great. Look at it that way.
All right, dears. Until next time, much love to everyone. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Durga, Durga, Durga. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be cheerful. May we have peace of mind. And may that mother and father of which we speak when we open these sessions, may we understand that we go forward in their loving and protective embrace. Jai, Jai, Jai. May we be well and in bright spirits. Until tomorrow.